All right, what's up everybody? Too Tall Toby here, and this week in the comments, a couple of people were asking about the speed modeling leaderboard for July. Well, I'm happy to announce that it has been posted. So your challenge is to speed model these 3 parts all in a row, continuous, record your screen, and then post a copy of that recording. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log in here at tootalltoby.com, take a look at my profile, and make sure that my profile is using the correct CAD system. I'm gonna be using Onshape for this run, so it is correct. Let's save those changes. And now we're gonna click here on Leaderboard, and we're gonna click here on this banner, Speed Model These 3 Parts. So what I like to do is click on the first drawing here, then go back to this original tab, click on the second drawing, go back to this original tab, click on the third drawing, and then I just like to take these drawings and move them over to my second monitor. So just take each of these 3 drawings, put them over here on your second monitor, make sure that they are all in order. Drawing D, E, and F, or drawing 1, 2, and 3. These all do look like they are in the same order, so I think I'm ready to go now. I'm gonna click compete. And when you are competing in this challenge, you do need to record your screen. So you're gonna have your CAD system on one side of the screen. Here's Onshape, my CAD system. So this will be on one side of my screen, and you're gonna have this speed modeling clock here on the other side of the screen. Now, a little trick here, if you hold Control and use the mouse wheel, you can make this clock a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to see here. Let me bring up my keyboard here so you guys can see this. So there's my keyboard. So I'm holding Control, and then I'm using the mouse wheel. I'm scrolling the mouse wheel a little bit here. So we can make this clock just a little bit smaller, but the clock does need to be visible for the entire run. So make sure before you hit record on your screen that that clock is visible, and make sure that you've got the 3 prints over on your second screen. Here you can see what's on my second screen, 1, 2, 3, all 3 of the prints. So I think I'm ready to go here. So let's go, good luck me, and I'll talk a little bit as we're going through and kind of tell you what I'm thinking about these challenges. And 3, 2, 1, go! So for this first document, I'm just gonna say create a new document. You do have to create a new document every time, but I'm just gonna call it 01 just to kind of keep things moving along here. I'm not gonna give it its actual name. I'm gonna pick the top plane, begin a sketch, and then I'm gonna press N to get normal to, and I'm gonna start out by sketching a line, and this line is gonna have a length of 62. It's kind of the center to center distance on that slot. Now to create a slot in Onshape, you can select a line, and then you can choose this icon here, slot. And so for this slot here, what I'm gonna do is double click on this diameter dimension, and I'm gonna type in 19, which is the smaller radius, times 2. And there we go, that gives us that slot. Press enter, then press enter again to make sure you finish that command. Now I can click that line again, I can choose the slot command again, and this time I'm gonna take this dimension and I'm gonna type in 42 times 2. That should give me that larger outside slot. So now when you're done typing in that dimension, like I said, you could press enter, or you could left click again. You can see here I can hit the green check mark by left clicking. Just make sure that you finish out the slot command. The slot command is one that is easy to forget that final step, and then you kind of have to do it all over again. So I'm gonna press the S key on my keyboard to bring up this little menu, and then I'm gonna create a circle here. This circle is gonna have a diameter of 136, and then I'm gonna create some connecting lines here just to kind of connect the end of the inner slot to the bottom of that circle that I just created. And I think that's gonna save me a little bit of a feature later on in the design. So now I'm ready to take this sketch and extrude it. So S key extrude. I'm gonna press the space bar. That way I'm not selecting everything, and that way I can kind of go through and select whatever it is that I actually want to extrude. So in this case, I think really what I want to extrude is just these outside regions here. Just kind of extrude those outer regions like so, and that's gonna come up to a height of 12 millimeters. And then I can show that sketch and use that sketch again, just select on it and use that sketch again. And now we're gonna take this remaining geometry. So press the space bar to clear what you don't want. I'm gonna take this remaining geometry here and I'm gonna bring that up to a height of 18 millimeters. And this is gonna be an add, and I'm gonna say merge with all. And that way I'm taking that layout geometry and merging it across to everything. So I think this thing is already starting to look pretty good, and now I'm ready to create that upper sleeve area that kind of has an angle on it. So I'll take this face here, begin a sketch. Maybe I'll take this arc here that's from the original sketch, and this line here from the original sketch, and I'll do a convert or a project. So I kind of did a convert entities there, or a project. Now I'm going to select those 3 entities, and I'm going to use the offset command, offset, and we're going to offset those inside. And then when you left left click for the green button. When you green left click, that's going to give you what that dimension is. So that dimension is going to be 12. So now I can create one final line here, and we want this line to be horizontal, and we're going to say that that line is going to be at a distance from this center point to that line, and that distance is going to be 52. And that should set me up nicely to do this extrusion. So I'm going to do S key extrude, and the region that I'm going to extrude is going to be this, and this. So that kind of region of 3 there. And that's going to go up to a height of 66 minus 18 to account for the fact that we're starting on that upper plane. So 66 minus 18. And there we go. And now we are set up to select this face and begin a sketch. And we're just going to sketch a quick triangle here. So from this corner down to this point, up to here somewhere, and then back over to that point at that 52 millimeter dimension. And on that triangle, we're going to have a 45-degree angle for that kind of chamfer shape. And now we can do S key extrude, and this is going to be a remove, and that is going to go through all for that remove. And oh yeah, this thing's really coming together. So we'll pick this face here, begin to sketch, get normal 2, and we are going to simply sketch a line with a distance of 105. Let's click on that line and press H to get that horizontal. And let's click on that line and click this center point here and choose Shift M, which is our midpoint relationship. Shift M for midpoint. Let's see, I think I have an extra kind of a rogue horizontal. There we go. Had a rogue horizontal point there. And now we're going to exit that sketch, and we're going to jump into the hole creation command. So if you can't find a command, just come up here and search for the command hole. We'll do a hole creation command here, a counter bore. We'll click in this box here, and we're going to follow through that hole call out. So 8, tab, 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 16, tab, 5. And now for our location, we'll just pick these endpoints of that 105 line that we just created, and that should set us up to complete that counter bore hole, or that set of counter bore holes. So now we've just got a couple of final features here. I'm going to pick this plane, begin a sketch. I'm going to press N to get normal 2, and I'm going to create a sketch of a line arc line. So a line that begins here comes up to a height of 32. Sometimes it's good to use the slot command. Sometimes it's better just to use line. Come back, hold your mouse over the endpoint, come around, and come back down to the bottom here, and then we'll just close that off. And now all we need to do is pick this edge, this line, and press I for coincident. And look at that, nice fully defined sketch. S key extrude, and this is going to be a remove through all. That should punch that kind of key hole through the back there, that tombstone shaped hole through the back. And now we've got one final feature here, which we're going to sketch on the right plane. Begin a sketch, and this is going to be our countersink type shape. So for this one, maybe what you want to do is start out kind of out here in space, and you can begin sketching a line and then press Q to turn that line into construction. And you can say this is going to come up to a height of 9 because that's the center of this countersink. Then press Q again, and that'll turn this back into a solid. And you really just need to go to beyond this inner wall here. So you could go up to this face here, and that should be sufficient to get you through that inner wall for this countersink. And then you're going to come up, and the distance you're going to come up here is going to be 1/2 of the hole, which the hole is 6, so that's going to be 3. You're going to come back to kind of this location, and then you're going to finish off with your countersink like so. And that countersink is going to have a diameter here at this point of 14, and that's going to be 14 over 2 because we're only doing half of it. And then it's going to have an angle dimension here of 82 over 2. 82 over 2. And then the final thing we're going to do is a pierce constraint. So we'll take this point here and this edge down here, and we'll just make those pierced. Pierce is where that edge is passing through the sketch plane. So that way we are exactly at the point of tangency for that cut revolve. So we can jump into a revolve command here. We can say this is going to be a remove, and our revolve axis is going to be this axis here. And look at that preview. That looks perfect. And we hit the green check mark, and we give this thing what's called the final spin. So you do a little rotate here, rotate around here to get your final spin. I think that looks pretty much like what we see on the drawing. So let's go down here to the name of the part, right mouse button, assign material. Let's say that we're going to assign a material from the TTT library, and that material is going to be plain carbon steel. And so we hit the green check mark. Maybe for an extra little flex here, we could say edit appearance and maybe make this the same appearance as the drawing. Oh yeah, I like that for bonus points. And then we click on the part and we see that we're coming up with a mass of 2014 grams, and that is the correct answer. So now we can choose to continue to the next model. So click here when finished model 1, boom, finish with model 1. And now I'm going to jump into that next drawing. And once again, I'm going to start a new document. So I'm going to say create document. I'll just call this O2 to save a little bit of time. Oh, untitled document O2T. Yes, that's what I meant to do there. And for this one, we are going to be working in inches. So you got to remember to go up here to the hamburger menu and say workspace units and change your workspace units here to inches and to change your mass here to, we are measuring this in pounds. So pounds, 3-place precision, that should be enough. We're only looking for 2-place precision on this print. So front plane S key, begin a sketch, and we're going to sketch a construction line here. So you press Q to get your construction line. And then we're going to sketch a regular line here, bring this line over just a bit, come back, touch the endpoint, come up and around. When you single click to drop that endpoint, you can type in a radius, and that radius is going to be 0.5. Come over here. We want this point to be vertical to this point down here. So just take your mouse down and hold your mouse over this point. And look at that. Now you can get that to be perfectly vertical. Come back, hold your mouse over the endpoint, come around with a tangent arc, and that gives you this exact slot shape that we were hoping to create here. The only thing we need to do is add the dimension here to represent the width of 1.25, and then add the dimension from here to the center line and cross over that center line. And that way you can get that dimension of 7.75. And so now we're ready to take that and turn it into a revolve. The revolve axis is going to be this axis here, and that is the first shape for this part. Now for the second shape, we're going to go to the top plane and we're going to begin a sketch. And this sketch is going to be a circle with a diameter of 1.75 inches. And then we're going to extrude that up to a height of 2.5 inches total. So you want to take note here that that circular boss starts at the very bottom at the same kind of floor level as that original revolve that we created. So we're going to create that circular boss extrusion up to 2.5 inches. And now we're ready to create that kind of rib shape. So front plane, begin to sketch, orient our view. And for that rib shape, you'll notice that the dimension is being called out as collinear and midpoint right to this location here, right to the very top. So you can make sure that as you're creating your geometry, you're coming over here right to the origin, coming up kind of to this location. We can add the relationship in just a moment. Then coming back over to here, and then you're probably going to want to add a little bit of a flat spot just to avoid the model sticking out. But if the model is sticking out, we could use delete face, and we love using delete face in these challenges. So let's take a chance here. Let's see if the model does stick out a little bit. So this is going to go to 0.5 from the base. This is going to go at an angle of 25 degrees, and this point here is going to be coincident to this edge here. And now we can take that geometry and we can choose features extrude, and this is going to get extruded out to a depth of 0.25, and we're going to use the symmetric option to make sure that it is coming out in both directions. This is also going to be an add, and this is going to be a merge with all. And remember, when you do symmetric, it's still 0.25 total. It's just taking it from the mid plane instead of going in one direction. So we hit the green check mark, and oh yeah, that thing is looking beautiful. And this gives us a chance to use delete face, and we love delete face in these challenges. So you can search your commands here for delete, and you should find delete face there in that list. And then all you need to do is pick these extra little faces that are sticking out here that you don't want, hit the green check mark, and oh yeah, that looks awesome. Now, at this point, we could do a feature pattern, but we could also just do a full-out part pattern. You know, when I go into circular pattern here, a lot of times I end up forgetting to change this from part pattern to feature pattern. But in this case, we actually probably could just do this as a part pattern. So we could say we're going to create a pattern of this entire body. This is going to be our axis, and we're going to have a total of 5 instances. And since we're doing this as an add, and we're kind of merging everything back together, we're just going to end up with one body. Everything's going to overlap and kind of bully in together, and that's certainly works. You don't have to do a feature pattern for that one if you do it in the same order that I did it here. So now we need to add our cut hole into this thing. And we could do this with a sketch, or we could do it with a whole feature. Either way will work. So I'll pick this face, begin a sketch, orient my view, and then I will create a circle here. And that circle is going to have a diameter of 6.5 inches. That's your BC, or your bolt circle. And then I'm going to create another circle here right at this quadrant point, and that circle is going to have a diameter of 0.60. And now I'm going to take that circle and perform an extrude. So we'll press the space bar to clear our selections. We will choose this boundary here. I guess I'm going to choose all 4 of these. This boundary here, this is going to be a remove, and that remove is going to go through all. So there we go, through all for that one. And now for this one, we are going to do a feature pattern. So we're going to do circular pattern. We're going to remember up top here to choose feature pattern. The feature we're going to pattern is going to be this feature. The axis of the pattern could just be this cylinder here, and the number of instances is going to be 3. And if we take a look at that preview, that looks pretty good. We hit the check mark, and oh yeah, that looks awesome. And so for our final feature, we're going to once again jump into the hole command. If you can't find it, you could always just go up here and search. So we'll search for hole, and there is the hole command. And what type of hole is this going to be? It's going to be a countersink. And what are the dimensions going to be? The through hole is going to be 0.5, tab, tab, tab. The countersink is going to be 1.10, tab. And the angle is going to be 100 degrees, tab. And then the location is going to be based on a mate connector. So you say select mate connectors. You choose this face here right near the center. And look at that. Onshape just goes right in and adds the location for that hole. And that is looking good. We could do a P or a Shift P to hide everything. Look at this thing. We could get some bonus points, edit appearance. And we could say we want this to be orange, just like the print. And we can right mouse button and say assign material from the Too Tall Toby custom materials library. We're going to make this thing out of ABS. And we hit the green check mark, and then we come all the way down here in the corner. Sorry, I know my keyboard is kind of covering this, but all the way down here in the corner, we've got this option for mass properties. Display mass properties. You click on the part, and there is the mass properties, 1.05 pounds. And if we look at the drawing, oh yeah, we nailed it on that one. 1.05 is correct. So now we can close out of that part as well. Click here when finished model 2. We're ready to go on to model number 3. So I'll bring up that drawing and we will begin a new document. So we'll say create document. We'll just call this one 03, enter. And for this one, we're going to start out on the top plane. I think for all 3 of these, we started out on the top plane. And we're going to start out this one with a construction line that's going to come over at 127. And another construction line is going to come up this way at 127. And then a final construction line that's going to come down here at 127. You may be saying to yourself, wait, how do you know this dimension is 127? Well, it's an equilateral triangle. So if this angle here is 60 and those 2 legs are 127, well, then this last leg is also going to be 127. So a little bit of simple geometry there to help us save some time and kind of get everything lined up right at the start. So now we're going to drop a circle in on here. That circle is going to have a diameter of 45. We're going to drop in the through hole circle here with a diameter of 29. We're going to drop in another circle here with a diameter of 25. And 13 for the interior hole. And same thing up here. We can either make these equal or we could just type in the dimensions here. Good practice of using your auto dimensions in Onshape. Definitely a skill that's important to learn. So now we're going to create some lines to connect these things. So we're going to do the click and drag method instead of the click, click, click method, click and drag method instead of the click, click, click method, and the click and drag method over to here. And finally, the click and drag method over to here. And then for some of these, you could do a crossing. So do a little crossing here, press T for tangent. This one looks like it's already got tangent, so that's pretty sweet. Over here, we could do a little crossing, T for tangent. This one here, little crossing T for tangent. And it looked like this one moved at the same time. We don't necessarily want that to be vertical to that other point, but we do want this to be tangent. So T for tangent to get that lined up. Sometimes you can inadvertently add a sketch relationship. You got to be on the lookout for those verticals and those horizontals. I had a vertical here on this one, so I just clicked on it, clicked on the relationship, and pressed delete on my keyboard to get rid of it. And then what we could do is we could add in a sketch fillet. We could add in a sketch fillet here, and we could say we want that radius to be 13. Oh yeah, that's looking good. And then here's a little final trick here. We can add in the angle dimension for one of these. So the angle dimension across here is 9.032. And then we could just take this line and make them equal. Another little trick. There's a lot of little tricks in this one that you can use to save time. Those are the only ones I'm going to show you, but trust me, there are a lot more that you can be on the lookout for. So now we are going to take that geometry and choose to extrude it. And when we go to extrude that geometry, it's going to come up to, actually, I think I'm going to do the circles first so that the geometry, the base doesn't get in my way for the subsequent features. So I'm going to choose this region here to extrude and bring that out to 57. And instead of pressing enter here, I'm going to press shift enter. because what that'll do, Shift Enter, what that'll do is it'll dump me right back into the extrude command. So now all I got to do is show the sketch from the original, and I can just pick this region and this region, and I can say I want those to come up to 25. And once again, I'm going to do a Shift Enter to finish that command, and that takes me into the extrude command again. And so now I can choose here on this final region, and I can say I want that to come up to a height of 6, enter, enter, and whoops, let me double click on that feature to edit it. That one should have been an add, and we'll merge with all. There we go. And so now I just need to add in that rib. I really made short work of those first couple of features. So now I just need to add in that rib. So for that rib, I'm going to choose the front plane, begin a sketch, and I'm going to sketch a line. This line is going to be Q to make it for construction. It's going to be vertical. It's going to come down to 2 millimeters. So 2 millimeters down for the start of that rib. The rib itself, I'm going to press Q again so that it is solid. And then I'm going to make another vertical line that is for construction again. And that will also be 2. Enter. And now for each of these endpoints, I'm going to pierce them to each of these circles. So this point here and this circle is going to be pierced. So you can see up here, we've got our different relationships. Pierced is Shift G. So pierce that together. And then this point here and this arc from this cylinder here, pierce. And that lines me up perfectly for that rib command. So we'll exit this sketch. I do have rib mapped to my S key because I use rib all the time and I love it. And this rib is going to have a width of 6 millimeters. 6 millimeters rib. Sometimes with the rib, it's helpful to flip the direction and then flip it back to get the preview. And most of the time when you're doing the rib, you do want to extend the profile so that it like continues to extend into the part. So just kind of by default, check that option on. So we hit the green check mark and there is our rib. And now we can once again do a circular pattern. We love circular pattern in this leaderboard run. This is going to be a feature pattern. The feature is going to be the rib. The axis of the pattern is going to be this boss here. And then the angle is going to be 60. And the number of instances is going to be 2. And then finally, we just need to reverse the direction. And look at that. That is a nice rib. So now we can do a P or a Shift P if we want to hide everything. We could do a right mouse button on the name of the part. We could say edit appearance, make this kind of match up with the appearance from the drawing. We could right mouse button and say assign material. By the way, you don't have to do that. That's just a waste of time if you're on this timed trial here. I'm just doing that as a little bit of a flex. And this one is going to be out of 1060 aluminum, and we hit the green check mark, and then we go down here to our mass properties. We pick on this part here, and the mass is coming out at 398.1, and that is the correct answer. You can see here is 398 grams for that one, so we're going to stop that as well. And there we go, 3 fairly complicated models, 2 tier 4 models, 1 tier 3 model in 20 minutes. Not bad, not bad. I think I could probably improve that time a little bit, but there you go. The bar has been set. Certified SolidWorks expert, not an Onshape expert, but a SolidWorks expert doing it in 20 minutes. Can you do it faster than that? So I have read, understand, and agree to the challenge rules. Yes, and I'm going to say submit. And now we see that my leaderboard run is shown here. Here it is, not verified. So somebody from the Too Tall Toby staff has to look at that run and confirm that the run is legit. And how are they going to look at that run? They have to see the video. So where do you post the video? Well, you post it on YouTube or on Twitch or LinkedIn or wherever you want, Reddit. And once you post it somewhere, you go in here to edit profile. And then there's a section down here for your leaderboard run. So monthly leaderboards. So you can see here that I've got a monthly leaderboard here from July 2024-07 monthly leaderboard challenge. And there's a section down here for the video link. So right now I'm going to edit this video. I'm going to post it on YouTube, and then I'm going to throw the link in right there. So good luck to everybody. You got a few weeks left in July to do the July leaderboard challenge. And even if you don't do the challenge yourself, I hope you enjoy watching the videos that other people are posting. It's really cool to go back through the leaderboard here and to see some of the other runs that people have done. Here's a Fusion, an Inventor, and Space Claim run from last month. May and June use the same models. So you'll see all the same models here from May and from June. And you can see here's a Rhino user. It's kind of cool. Plasticity user, and a Libre user, Ex Machina. What's up, my man? So lots of really cool stuff here in the leaderboard challenges if you ever want to go back through and look at some of the earlier runs. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope that you find this helpful, and let me know down in the comments what you think about this video. See you, everybody.